Madison Smith with Campus Reform. We're here at the University of Virginia today asking students what they think about Kamala Harris's Second Chance Act that she passed as senator. It let 3,000 people out of prison, reduced 1,600 sentences. Seems like a pretty good thing, right? Well, what will they think when they find out that that was actually Trump's First Step Act and that Kamala Harris actually has a pretty bleak history of mass incarceration? Let's see what they have to say. Kamala Harris, when she was a senator, she had the Second Chance Act. So about 3,000 inmates were released and about 1,600 people had their sentences reduced, some for minor violations, things like that. Do you see that as a good thing?
Yeah, I see that as a good thing. Some people need a second chance in life.
I mean, yeah, I believe so. I think if people are in jail for minor offenses and things they shouldn't be in jail for, that, there is a chance for them to come out, that they should be able to be free and live their life and get a...
Well, like this kid was saying, there is a reason why. He says what did he say? He said, they're in jail for things like, they didn't do, or, just in jail for no other reason. Well, just to let this young man know that most 99.99% of the people that are in jail are in there for a reason. They committed a crime.
A second chance, a second opportunity.
I feel like you can't just qualify it as good or bad. It really depends on the person.
I would like to learn more about it. All I know about Kamala Harris is she kept people in prison after their terms were over and used them as free labor.
Giving people a second chance is a good thing.
Right. So we're kind of comparing that, the record of letting people out of prison with Donald Trump's record of mass incarceration, specifically with marijuana violations. He allowed about 1,500 people to be arrested for minor marijuana violations. And then he was asked about it, asked if he had ever smoked weed himself, and he kind of laughed it off. What do you think about that? Does that surprise you?
I would say with today's media, that doesn't really surprise me. Not a good thing, but I'm not surprised.
I don't necessarily think it surprises me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely easier to convict people of smaller crimes.
That doesn't really surprise you?
No, not really. However, I do think that Trump has pardoned some people that should be pardoned, and Trump has done some bad, but there's also some good he has done that I don't think is talked about.
I think he redeemed himself here a little bit. I was a little surprised there. I have to be a little shocked that he sort of said that, Trump has done some bad things, but he's done some good things and nobody really knows about it. The part that's amazing is when he talked about that Trump, when he said if you smoke some weed, he sort of laughed it off or whatever. And I just think that most of these kids have to realize that, Trump doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do any of that stuff. So even to ask, somebody would have said, Trump smoking weed? Come on.
About a lot.
Doesn't really surprise me.
Why not?
Just from what the media portrays of Donald Trump, I feel like that sounds on par with everything else I've heard.
Not really.
Yeah, why not?
Stuff like that really give us the confirmation that we needed to know what he's about.
He kept about 1,500 people in jail for minor marijuana violations and then kind of laughed it off when he was asked about it and asked if he had smoked weed himself.
Actually, that's not at all what I heard. I actually heard it was Kamala Harris.
It is Kamala Harris. We're doing a social experiment to get people.
This girl, right on point. One of the few times, well, obviously, I'm sure that when they pick students, when they do these, if a bunch of the students say, hey, listen, that wasn't Kamala Harris, that was President Trump, they obviously can't use that in the A role that they're rolling. Maybe B, C, D roles, they can do it in the background afterwards. But this girl, she, in fact, the first time around, right, when asking the question, she goes, I don't think that's really true or whatever. But she didn't say it. This time, she just said right immediately, no, that was actually Kamala Harris. So let's continue.
People's thoughts if the roles were reversed.
These are all Kamala Harris.
Yeah, you're exactly right. What if I told you that the roles were actually reversed? So Kamala Harris's Second Chance Act is actually Donald Trump's First Step Act. So it was Donald Trump who let all these people out of prison and reduced all these sentences. Does that surprise you to know that the roles were reversed?
I wouldn't say surprised all that much, since I don't really know that much about both of them.
I mean, he passed the big criminal justice reform thing, right?
Yeah, it would surprise me. Everything now is so divided, and it's really sad because a lot of things shouldn't even be political issues anymore.
I don't really know all that much about Kamala Harris, but saying that those roles were reversed, I can see that.
No, I am surprised by some of the things that have been happening.
I don't think it would surprise me, to be honest. The media kind of can swing things whichever way they want.
It's not a question of swinging things the way that they want. It's not a way of swinging things that the way they want, like this young girl is saying here. It's a question of going in depth, looking at the issues, looking at the policies. If you're out there voting, and I'm sure that maybe they didn't vote, if they're low information, no information voters, whether they're college students or they're people that are employed or non-employed or people that are making a ton of money, people that are just making a little bit of whatever it is. If you don't have the information on who you're voting for and you're just basically going on, hey, I heard this thing, or my idiot friend told me that this is what this person is doing, and you know what? Yeah, sounds good to me, or whatever. And you don't investigate for yourself, you don't do your own due diligence. That is just so surprising to me, especially these kids when they're going to some of these elite institutions of higher learning, and you would think that they would have the presence of mind to go and study the issues and find out. Like that one young man, he was over there. He said, I don't know much about Kamala Harris. I don't know much. And maybe it's the same thing. Maybe he doesn't know that much about President Trump. Well, I mean, wait, just partying at school? I mean, it doesn't take that long to find a few things out. It's amazing how these college students literally, when you go through these videos, I love doing these because they really give you a sense of where college students actually are. Now, there are a lot of college students that know exactly what's going on. There's no doubt about that. But there's a whole lot more. I think the majority fall into this category here. You saw almost everybody there didn't know except for the one person there. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Put your comments down below. Let us know what do you think? Do you weep for our fellow students like I do, the future of the country? And I'll leave you with my final thought, which is when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.